Good afternoon. This session and this roundtable, in fact, is digital. Unfortunately, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't think I can speak louder. I come closer. So this session will be digital since the two speakers are in Finland and couldn't come over. Oh. So the speakers are one from Business Finland, Ikka Homamen, who is the expert in batteries. And the second speaker is MÄKELÄ from a Finnish company named Quel Technology. So if you wish to know a little bit more about what Finland does in battery sector, you can listen to.
Dear Ilka, dear Jan, we first thank you for accepting our invitation to talk about batteries in Finland today. Let me introduce you first. Ikka Homamen, you are currently head of smart cities and batteries programs within Business Finland. After more than 20 years as an experienced clean tech executive, both in private and public organizations. Jan MÄKELÄ, you are sales director within Quel Technology, a company you will introduce to us later. You are a seasoned business professional having an extensive experience in business development activities in international context. The topic of the talk today is what role for Finland in the European battery industry and what opportunities. So my first question will be for Ilka. Ilka, when we speak about batteries to the audience, what do we mean by that? How do you define batteries?
Okay, thanks for the question. Firstly, it's my privilege to be here to talk about battery business. That's been my work role, let's say, last 3 years. But let's start by this question. When we talk about batteries in this context, we are not talking about so-called mobile applications like mobile phones or lighters or something like that. But instead of that, we are talking about a big transformation happening in Europe and around the globe. We need to diminish the emissions in the cars and transportation, and we need to diminish the emissions in the energy sector. And we are talking about mainly lithium-based battery businesses, which is in a very fast growth in Europe.
Thank you. That's clear. What is the value chain of batteries in Europe and in Finland, if different?
Well, let me answer this way, that we should not make any difference. The reason is that we are working very tightly together towards European battery value chain. And obviously Finland has some competencies like raw materials and production capabilities, applications, and especially recycling. But we are heavily and tightly working together towards European goals here, so there's no difference.
So, and in fact, Finland is involved in strategic European projects, indeed. And which one and how Finland is involved?
Yeah, that's a correct question, because we see in Finland that IPCEI processes is like a very good tool on hand for providing financing for R&D and development of the projects. But on the other hand, and I would say more importantly, to connect European industry networks together. And like I said, we are working together, so this IPCEI is connecting us on a project level together. And happy to say that Finland has been participating to both so-called battery IPCEIs, one led by Germans and one led by French parties. And I'm happy to inform that for the first one, there were 4 Finnish companies involved, and for the second one, there were 3 Finnish companies involved. Unfortunately, I cannot say much more about the content of the projects because they are confidential, but Finland has been participating to the projects which spread, let's say, widely on the value chain, not only for particular vertical.
And who are the players in Finland?
Well, I took a backdrop here on my back, so you can see quite many logos here, and you can get the view that we are working throughout the value chain, starting from the mining, refining of the materials, battery manufacturing applications, and recycling, forming a circular economy type of approach. So you can see big global players who operate in Finland. You can see a lot of SMEs who are bringing in the innovative approaches. So not to mention any particular company, you can see some of the logos on the back.
Just to let the audience see the logos, I just switched my camera off. So
okay, good.
At which stages of the value chain in Finland is Finland playing? It seems that at all stages, that's what you said, but is there any strong strengths in Finland?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. We have strongholds throughout the value chain, I must say. We do have resources when you talk about battery minerals, and we are putting quite a bit of investments and efforts to that side. We are building, for instance, a lot of capabilities on the cathode material production. You can see all these investments published in public sources. We are also having capabilities in a battery manufacturing, battery packs manufacturing. There's few companies working on that. And then I would like to mention working machinery electrification. That's one of our spearhead projects because we have a lot of machinery manufacturers in Finland, and they are electrifying their machinery towards sustainable future. And finally, we are having a very good competencies on recycling of batteries, and we are working heavily with the EU towards giving directions for R&D, but also in terms of commercial partnerships.
Great. So now we will have an example with casual technologies. And the question is for you, Jan. First, could you please describe your technology and your business model?
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely. At Quel Technologies, we are solely concentrating in laser marking, and we have a very profound expertise within the field of know-how in that sense. And we provide laser marking devices, but also software enabling to control the lasers with the different materials, enabling in the end of the day the critical thing, which is the traceability markings on different products, such as batteries. And the permanence of the markings are of course crucial thing, which our technology enables, because the traceability has to be in place throughout the whole battery value chain, for instance, all the way to the recycling and reuse space. And laser marking devices combined with software supporting the laser marking process is pretty much the core we work with.
Fine. And so in which part of the value chain are you active?
We are very much, let's say, in the manufacturing phase is the part where we are acting in the value chain. But if we look, for instance, the battery industry, where the value chain has the raw materials, active materials, cell manufacturing, battery pack systems, applications integration, and the recycling phase. So basically, we step in the cell manufacturing and battery packs and system phase. And typically, that is where the manufacturing will happen and the installation. And due to our technology, we are able to provide the markings on the different products at different stage of the processes, enabling the traceability and throughout the value chain all the way to the recycling phase. So transparency is very important in traceability context.
Now the question is for both of you. Which type of cooperation will be open for French companies, especially SMEs?
Well, if I start first, we are very much keen on collaboration. First of all, Finland does have competencies, but we realize that our market is pretty small. So we let's say are profound to make collaboration with the markets. And actually, I represent Business Finland. We are working heavily to make the perfect matchmaking with European players, and that includes, of course, also French players. So we are keen on collaboration, sure.
Yeah, from our part, I can state that, of course, we are looking for partnerships, for instance, OEM partners, but also for at some stage, also for some potential R&D partnerships could be interesting for us, since we are working. We have now established the marking technology, but we are at the same time looking to work with developing a solution that enables full transparency throughout the value chain. And that is something we have on the roadmap quite heavily. So we have taken the first step and taken the next step, second step next, and those kind of cooperation partners where we could reach some kind of value could be very interesting for us in creating the transparency and traceability system throughout the value chain. But of course, also we exist if somebody needs well-proved laser marking technology. We are here to help and assist.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Ilkka, do you wish to add something about the topic of collaborations?
Yes, I would like to perhaps repeat a few key words. Firstly, sustainability and low carbon future. That's something that should, let's say, create the willingness to collaborate, because we are there together in Europe and in the world also. And sustainability can be proven through traceability across the value chain. So I think Quel Technologies is one of the perfect examples that they have their technology which they are applying into the value chain of batteries for traceability. But there is still a few steps to go to have this full integration throughout the value chain. And that particular area requires a lot of interfaces, a lot of partnerships to make that happen. But we are ready in Finland to collaborate on that topic.
Thank you so much. I think it's the end of this talk, and we really appreciated your this discussion, and thank you again.
Sure. Thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Thank you.